Patrick, after having heard your presentation this morning, what do you think is the biggest threat to online advertising?
Well, one of the biggest threats is that newspaper companies go along with the tendency you've got in many countries in cost per click sales, in cost per acquisition sales. We newspapers, we are there, and especially our online sites are there for brand advertising, and we have to make sure that we can get enough money out of our bannering campaigns, out of advertising campaigns. And I believe much more in the Scandinavian model, where you say, okay, you pay this amount for a large ad format, and you can get high rates out of it. If I look, for example, to Holland, where everything is going on acquisition based, on click based, well, you see that editors don't make any money out of the internet. So I think on the long term we'll get to a dual situation also in most of Europe, which means that you've got a couple of premium sites where you can get a lot of money out of it, and then you will have the small sites, and those people will have to survive with cost per click, cost per acquisition. But if we want to position our newspaper sites, well, the only way to survive is by impression-based revenue model. I think it will come from both. I think one of the great things to do is look at non-traditional newspaper advertising, because nowadays we've got all the banks, we've got automotive, but let's go to fast mover advertisers, because nowadays we see that they're still on television, and I think also for them we've got a lot of opportunities on the internet. We can play movies, we can play 30-second spot. Let's invest in that, and let's invest on how we can manage it, how we can put it on the internet, give them the same results. I think internet has the big opportunity. It can make brand advertising, but it can make it interactive, and you can make people involved in your brand, play with your brand, and this is something important, and the experience for a customer will be more intense with internet than, for example, on television.
So all the things you talk about there involve a lot of new creativity. Do you think that requires special training of existing staff, or do we need new people with new ideas?
Well, I don't think you really need new people with new ideas. I think creative people are also creative. Well, they can be for every media type creative, so why shouldn't they be able to be creative for the internet? I only think that you see it a lot in creative agencies that they're not used to work with internet, and give them some more training to get used to the medium, to get used what you can do in a creative site, and I think if we do that, great things will follow.
So Patrick, you talked a bit about online advertising this morning, and we saw the case of VG, where the online website is now paying for the printed newspaper. When will this be the case at the Pers Group?
It will never be the case. For us, website and newspaper are different things. I mean, every media type should work on its own strength, and we think that there's still a future in newspapers, and we have to work on newspapers, and online can't be the excuse for not investing in your newspaper anymore. You have to invest in both media types, and then both will win and both will come out. And so I don't think we will ever say, okay, online will be the dominant medium. There will be equal media in the future, but none of them will be dominant.
Will you reach 50% of your profit one day from online?
Well, let's hope so. Let's see first what next year gives. Next year will be most probably a recession for, well, in advertising. It will be, the growth of online will go slower next year. Let's see what it will give. I hope that we can match what Chipset is doing, is getting 50% of the profit out of online. I know one thing is that more than a newspaper, online is a fixed cost business. This means that, well, once you have a good editorial staff, once you have your webmasters and your marketing platform, well, then you don't have to invest anymore that much as you used to do in the beginning. So profits will be rising.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.